Part 2. The birth that changed everything. The room fell into a tense silence. Olivia's heart pounded in her chest as Luna lay on the examination table, breathing heavily, her body trembling with each contraction. Dr. Harper and the veterinary staff moved quickly, preparing for what should have been a routine delivery. But this was no ordinary delivery. The moment the first pup emerged, a wave of shock swept through the room. Instead of the soft, wet cry of a healthy puppy, there was silence, followed by a collective gasp. Olivia's knees almost buckled. The creature that had been born looked nothing like a puppy. It was smaller, oddly shaped, with features that didn't seem possible. Its fur was patchy, its eyes bulged unnaturally, and its tiny body twisted in a way no one could explain. Dr. Harper froze, whispering under his breath, This isn't normal." But before anyone could react, Luna cried out again. Another contraction, another birth, and this time, what emerged was even stranger. The second offspring had the unmistakable snout of a dog, but its legs were fused together as if it had been molded from clay. It whimpered weakly, sending chills through the entire room. Olivia covered her mouth, her eyes filling with tears. "What's happening to my Luna?" she cried. The staff exchanged worried glances, their professional composure slipping into visible fear. Dr. Harper, who had seen thousands of births in his career, was pale and shaking. "I've never witnessed anything like this." The births continued. One after another, Luna delivered creatures that defied all logic. Some resembling dogs but distorted, others almost unrecognizable as living beings. The room smelled of fear, confusion, and something else. Something foul, metallic, unnatural. By the time Luna collapsed from exhaustion, she had given birth to 6 beings. Only one looked remotely like a healthy puppy. The rest were beyond explanation. Dr. Harper immediately called for additional testing. Blood samples, x-rays, scans, everything that could be done was done. Olivia sat in the waiting room trembling, replaying the horrifying images in her mind. She could still hear the weak cries of the malformed pups echoing in her ears. Hours later, Dr. Harper entered with a grim expression. "Olivia," he said carefully, "I don't know how to tell you this. Luna's litter, it's not natural. Some of the genetic markers in her blood are completely wrong." "Wrong?" Olivia whispered. "Yes," he replied. "It's as if Luna's DNA was tampered with, or mixed with something else." Olivia's jaw tightened. "But how? She never left my sight. She's always been in our home or the yard." Dr. Harper sighed. "I can't explain it, but I have to be honest. Whatever's happening here might not just be medical. It could be something much darker." Those words sent Olivia into a spiral of fear. Darker? What could he possibly mean? That night, Olivia took Luna and the surviving pups home. She tried to comfort her beloved dog, wrapping her in blankets, whispering soft reassurances. But something was wrong. The house, once a warm sanctuary, suddenly felt oppressive. The surviving pups cried in an eerie rhythm, as though their cries were communicating something. Luna, instead of showing affection, seemed agitated and restless, her eyes glowing faintly under the dim kitchen light. At 2 a.m., Olivia was awakened by scratching sounds, coming from inside the nursery where she had kept the pups. Slowly, she opened the door. Her heart froze. The malformed pups, those that weren't supposed to survive, were moving, crawling. Their bodies twitched unnaturally as they dragged themselves toward the door. Their eyes, though clouded, seemed to focus directly on her. Olivia screamed and slammed the door shut. Her hands shook so violently she could barely turn the lock. She stumbled back against the wall, her breath short and sharp. "What is happening?" she cried out to the empty house. The next morning, Olivia returned to Dr. Harper, desperate for answers. She begged him to look deeper, to run more tests, to explain the unexplainable. Days turned into weeks. Strange news began surfacing in the quiet Oregon town. Other pet owners started reporting bizarre incidents. Dogs behaving aggressively, animals giving birth to unusual litters, and mysterious figures being spotted at night near the woods. Dr. Harper, working late into the night, finally called Olivia back. His face was pale, his voice low. "Olivia, I found something in Luna's blood work. A substance that doesn't belong there. It's synthetic, manufactured. Someone did this?" Her stomach dropped. "You mean someone experimented on her?" "Yes, and not just her. I think multiple animals in this town have been exposed." The pieces began to fit together. The strange behavior, the malformed births, the fear creeping through the quiet town. Someone was tampering with the animals. But why? Determined to find answers, Olivia began investigating on her own. Late at night, she followed Luna as the dog wandered restlessly into the woods behind their house. The moon cast eerie shadows across the trees, and every crack of a twig made her flinch. Then she saw it. In a clearing stood a figure, tall, cloaked, unmoving. Beside him were cages, and inside those cages, more animals. Some growling, others whimpering, their eyes glowing faintly in the moonlight. Olivia's breath caught. She stumbled backward, snapping a branch under her foot. The figure turned. For a split second, she locked eyes with him. His face was hidden, but the intensity of his gaze cut through her like ice. Then, without a word, he vanished into the darkness, leaving behind only the faint metallic stench that Olivia had come to dread. By the time Olivia returned home, her life was spiraling out of control. Luna no longer resembled the gentle dog she had loved for years. The surviving pup, though healthier than the others, began showing strange behaviors, staring at walls, growling at empty air, refusing to eat. Olivia faced a heartbreaking choice: protect Luna and her pup no matter the cost, or turn them over to authorities who might discover the horrifying truth, but possibly destroy them in the process. She stood at her kitchen window, staring out into the dark woods, knowing the figure was still out there, watching, waiting, and deep down, she knew this was only the beginning, because what had started with Luna's strange pregnancy was part of something much bigger, something Olivia could never have imagined.